I want to now open up CatDV. Well, here's a shortcut to do so. On controller A, remember on both controllers runs the QCSP, the block storage environment, the StoreNext environment, and the lower controller runs CatDV. So I can launch the CatDV UI. I can click on this, I can click on this, and it opens the IP address associated with the CatDV web server. So I'm already logged in, so I can now take a look at the different catalogs, and yep, here's those two catalogs that were in the top level of those folders, or of those volumes, and I'm going to click into our catalog for our project. So this is CatDV. It's taken all of those files in the root of the folder and it's made them searchable, and it's made very nice snappy poster files and proxies of these so that they load quickly. So this is all the content that we've gathered together in our catalog. This could be a very large amount of media, or we could focus it just by an individual project, as I've done here. So probably the first thing you want to know about CatDV, when you log in, you probably won't have any, well, you won't have any content in there. So here I've got a small file. I'm just going to copy it into my volume. And while that's copying, I'm going to go ahead and watch as an admin user. I'm going to go ahead and watch the workers as they pick up this file. So here the file is copied in. It's now in the root of that folder. Now, as an admin user, at any time, if you wish, you can stop and start any of these individual workers. And now we can see that it appears that our file is queued. And if you saw, it temporarily showed me a thumbnail of 90%. It's running. It's building all the different proxies and thumbnails it needs, film strips. And when it's done, I have a beautiful poster file. And I can go ahead and play just as I would for any other file. And that's how simple it is to copy content into your volume and have it be automatically indexed. So back to the CatDV interface. When I come to the home screen, or after I look at my catalog, you'll notice that by default you'll probably have lots of these thumbnails. These are small thumbnails of the source content. I can scrub through them just by mousing over them. But probably the most important concept here is that all of these individual pieces of media can be represented in different ways. I can change them to look at them as just a simple list. And here I've got more information presented, how long the clips are, the format, in more of a tabular style. And here these little green lights tell me that the full resolution version is known to the system, where it is on the storage, and so is the proxy version. This is the image grid version, and there's another format called film strips that are a different way for you to see what's happening in video a little better. Horses running by, leaving you with an empty frame, people walking down a street, etc. But aside from these three ways of looking at your content, each of them have different variations. So right now I'm in the normal grid style. Well, if space is at a premium and I want to look at more clips at a time, there's concise. If I want them larger and more information, there's detailed. And there's even one called large. So let's stick with large. But notice that each of these clips lets you scrub through these individual bits of video, but they also have a little micro menu here where I can create a clip list that perhaps is a lot easier to just gather a few clips I want someone to quickly look at or review. I can download that media, or I can do some other things to make it easier to organize all this content. I can create a folder. I can go ahead and rough assemble a sequence, or I could convert this and another piece of media to a meta clip that also helps organization, or if I need to, just actually go ahead and delete it. So if I wanted to perform an action on multiple clips at a time, I could select a couple of them at once, like so, and now do an action on both of them together. Convert them to a meta clip, for example. One other thing to point out is that these individual pieces of media can also not just show you the video itself, but as I click in, they can also show you some audio information. So in this particular case, hold your ears. I happen to know this clip has some audio. I can click here to start the video, and then spacebar to start and stop, and I can also use JKL keys to move around inside the clip. So let's take a look. Spacebar to stop, J to go back, spacebar again to play, L to play faster. Now let's say that as I'm rough assembling something, I like everything about this clip. I like the way it starts, it launches. This is perfect for our sizzle reel. But as it gets to about here, say, this is about where I want to cut it. Or maybe I want to add something and call it to the attention of someone else on my team. So I'll create a marker, and I'll then say, let's say it's to the editor. And we'll say, cut here as you lose the car in the grass. Because that, to me, seems like where I want it to end. And in fact, maybe I want to annotate it a little more. I'll say something like this. Right here is where the grass is. So I've just added a marker. So now I can click through these panels, and perhaps I might have several markers for an individual piece of content that someone needs to be aware of as they're editing it. So there you go. This is where the markers are. So if someone else comes upon this clip, one, they're going to see this marker. They can mouse over. Or even though I've scrubbed closer to the beginning of the file, if I just click on the marker, I'm brought immediately to that marker, and I can see the information that someone wants to share with me as we're getting this ready. More on panels in a bit. How about smart folders? So catalogs I'm going to go ahead and save the changes. So catalogs we discussed. This could organize an entire team's work or an individual project, etc. They're as flexible as you want it to be, but let's say I want to create smart folders that make it easier to find individual content. So these are just exactly what they sound like. So in this particular case, let's say I want to take a look at ProRes. I want to see all of my clips that are ProRes. So I'll come up with a helpful name called All ProRes. No group. let's go ahead and add a term. Let's say video. I happen to know that video